It's a bombshell. Disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction is being overturned.
Weinstein was convicted of sexual offenses against two accusers.
What do Harvey Weinstein, Clive Davis, and Puff Daddy have in common? These three entertainment industry titans started their careers from the bottom and clawed their way to the top to achieve incredible success and fame. They reached the peak of their careers, and they were basically legends in their fields. But there's one thing that joins them all together way beyond their achievements, and that is they're caught up in a fair share of controversies, with sexual assaults being the most prominent one. The true controversies surrounding Harvey Weinstein have all been made out to be true, with numerous proven allegations of sexual misconduct that have forever tarnished his legacy. Meanwhile, the other two, Clive Davis and Diddy, have recently been faced with similar controversies and allegations that are yet to be proven. But as they always say, it's only a matter of time before the truth about these allegations comes to light. In this video, we will be going deep into these three influential figures and the controversies that surround them. But before we dive in, kindly hit your like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Thank you. Do you all remember Whitney Houston, one of the greatest vocalists to ever pick up the microphone? It has been 11 years now since she's died, and our fans still can't seem to get closure about her manner of death. Of all the controversies surrounding her death, the one where Clive Davis, her mentor and producer, silenced her is particularly haunting. Clive Davis is a renowned American record producer and music executive who has been widely known for his unique ability to spot and manage talents. Born in 1932, Clive has had quite a substantial impact on the music industry, having worked with lots of iconic artists and been responsible for signing many landmark musicians. Examples of these artists include Tony Orlando, Whitney Houston, Westlife, Pink Floyd, Billy Joel, and many others. Over the span of his career, he has won 5 Grammy Awards, and he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a non-performer. However, there's something about this man that feels so off. Clive Davis is at the center of a lot of controversies, some related to his personal life, the way he runs his companies, his parties, and the way he treats artists. For instance, he was fired from the position of the president of Columbia Records for alleged misuse of company funds. He also faced a grand jury probe into the interstate heroin trafficking and potential connections between a drug company and Columbia Records. Aside from his history with drugs, he is quite popular for his eccentric parties. These gatherings are far from ordinary. They are often held at gay clubs and involve activities most people can't even imagine, let alone indulge in. And no, it's not just about addictive substances. These parties allegedly include inappropriate activities like improper homosexual escapades, strange ritualistic patterns, criminal activities, and more. After being forced out of Columbia Records, Clive started off at Arista Records, where he signed up for the upcoming Whitney Houston. She turned out to be a phenomenal success, bringing immense fame, influence, and financial gain to the label. After a couple of years in the industry, things started to feel different. In an interview with Diane Sawyer, Whitney mentioned that she had issues with Clive Davis. Because of these issues, she did not attend Davis's tribute when he was forced out of Arista Records, she added in the interview. The next major news we heard about her was her death. Whitney was found dead in the bathtub of a Beverly Hills hotel. The details regarding her death were so sketchy that Whitney's fans are still hoping the real truth about her death will come out one day. To give you some context on how bizarre it all was, Whitney Houston tragically passed away on February 11, 2012, the very day she was set to perform at Clive Davis' pre-Grammy Award party at the Beverly Hills Hilton in Beverly Hills. But just hours before the scheduled event, Whitney's assistant discovered Whitney lying face down in a bathtub filled with water. Whitney was unresponsive, and her assistant called Whitney's bodyguard, Ray Watson, to help her get Whitney out of the tub. Whitney's assistant and her bodyguard then called 911, and their paramedics arrived at Whitney's hotel room at 3:30 p.m. They performed CPR, but sadly, it was too late. At 3:55 p.m., Whitney Houston was pronounced dead. After the autopsy was conducted along with some other toxicology reports, it was revealed that Whitney died by drowning combined with the effects of heart disease and drug abuse. But fans were skeptical. The autopsy noted that there was an external trauma on Whitney's body. However, the coroner quickly rejected the idea of that. The most absurd part of the whole story was that while all of this was going on, Clive Davis continued with the Grammy party nearby, even after learning of Whitney's death. This was kind of weird because how would a supposed mentor and a producer prefer to keep dancing with the music on after hearing that his best artist is dead? Well, except if there was more money to be made. Fans believe that Clive Davis was in the best position to profit from her death, and that is perhaps the truth. This is because when an artist dies, people tend to listen to their songs a lot more, and that makes a lot more money for the label in charge of their music rights. And the irony is, the artist would not be around to fully claim the profit made of it. After Whitney's death, her compilation album, I Will Always Love You, the best of Whitney Houston, reached number 14 on the Billboard 200 chart in the week of her death. It even went on to archive gold certification. Over 500,000 copies sold in the U.S. by 2020, 8 years after she had died. That is why it was easy for fans to point their fingers at Clive Davis. Of course, Clive most likely didn't earn all the money from Whitney's death, but her fans are convinced that might be one of the reasons for her death. Weeks after Whitney's death, Clive Davis in an interview revealed that he kept the party on because that was what Whitney would have wanted. In a reply to that, several of Whitney's family and friends have come forward to reject that, saying that Clive disrespected Whitney by partying at the same hotel where she died just hours before. In fact, Whitney's longtime friend, Chaka Khan, and Clive's decision to go through with the party was insanity, and it was actually the opposite of what Whitney would have wanted. Knowing Whitney, I don't believe that she would have said, "The show must go on." She's the kind of woman that would stop everything, Chaka Khan said. She also criticized Clive for saying that the party was a tribute to Whitney because it simply made no sense that someone who supposedly loved and cared about Whitney would have the strength to party hours after she died. Though the official autopsy report made no mention of this, several industry insiders, including Jaguar Wright, claimed that Whitney's family saw her body and believed she had been beaten. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub. She was beaten up, Wright said. The death of Whitney Houston isn't the only controversy Clive Davis has been caught up in. Another big one involves the next person, none other than Diddy. If you are enjoying this video, kindly give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when we drop other videos. Sean Love Combs, also known by his stage name Diddy, is an American rapper, record producer, and record executive. Just like Clive Davis, he is credited with the discovery and grooming of artists like the Notorious B.I.G., Justin Bieber, and Usher. The three-time Grammy winner currently holds the Guinness World Record for most successful rap producer. He became an employee at Uptown Records and played a significant role in developing big names like Mary J. Blige. He was promoted to vice president within a year. While holding this significant position, he and the late rapper Heavy D organized a fundraiser event following a charity basketball game at the City College of New York. Unfortunately, tickets were oversold, leading to a stampede in which 29 people were injured and 9 others tragically lost their lives. No criminal charges were filed against him, Heavy D, and the college. However, a state judge found them liable for the tragedy, leading to wrongful death and personal injury lawsuits. This event played a major role in why he was fired from his job. So Diddy was back on the street and still pretty much a rookie in the game. He needed money to realize his dreams. However, Clive swooped in and invested in his company in a completely bizarre move. 2 years later, Bad Boy Records was recognized as the #1 hip-hop record label by Billboard magazine. So here's the mystery. How did he convince Clive to bankroll his record label? Clive wasn't super confident about Bad Boy Records making it big. He admitted it himself in an interview, saying Diddy basically pressured him, claiming that hip-hop is going to take over the top 40. Diddy Diddy played him some Craig Mack and Notorious B.I.G. tracks when they were still under the radar, and Clive saw the music landscape shifting. There have also been rumors buzzing for years about Clive Davis and Diddy being more than just industry colleagues. Sources claim the two have been a thing for a solid 5 years and weren't exactly discreet about it. From epic parties to hush-hush meetups, it seems these two have been living their best lives. Rumors say that Diddy has been a victim too, allegedly an intimate slave to Clive Davis. In light of these allegations, many now believe that Diddy has all these things coming his way because Clive groomed him. Some sources suggest that Diddy, driven by extreme narcissism, learned to manipulate and control people from Clive Davis. Fast forward to today. Diddy is facing numerous allegations of sexual assault from right and left. The first accusations came in November 2023 when Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, filed a lawsuit against the producer. In the lawsuit, she alleged that during the relationship, Diddy physically and sexually assaulted her. She also claimed that Diddy also took pictures of her and coerced her into having sex with sex workers. Although they settled the lawsuit outside court, the lawsuit was followed by even more allegations by various women. In addition to that, Diddy's ex-producer has also added even more allegations and has numerous lawsuits against not only Diddy, but to his two sons. Clive Davis himself has had some sexual assault allegations tossed his way and has come out as bisexual after a couple of marriages and divorces. Clive has been pretty upfront about his journey of self-discovery, revealing his attraction to men later in life. Clive has been in a solid relationship with another man for 5 years, often seen together at events. Meanwhile, Diddy seems to be Clive's go-to guy at events. Not just a casual run-in. Considering their tight bond and Clive's openness about his sexuality, the idea of a romantic spark between the two isn't far-fetched. Aside from controversies about a relationship with Clive, Diddy's journey to stardom was filled with many deaths. So people are asking, is Diddy some accidental bad luck charm? Or are these just crazy coincidences in the chaotic music world? The whole eerie vibe of death hanging around Diddy makes you wonder how these events might be connected. Firstly, it was a stampede that claimed 9 lives. Then the death of Biggie, Kim Porter, and the alleged Tupac situation. Jaguar Wright dropped some bombshell thoughts about Biggie's death, suggesting it wasn't random, but a strategic move by Diddy and Bad Boy Records. For those who don't know her, she is basically like the female version of Cat Williams, who lets us in on secrets in the industry. According to her, Diddy was cashing in on Biggie's name longer than Biggie was alive. Biggie hadn't even turned 25 when he died, and it's been over 25 years since his death, with Diddy still making money from Biggie's name. And now, for one with the most controversy in Hollywood, we have Harvey Weinstein. For decades, Harvey Weinstein was Hollywood's unstoppable movie mogul, one of the few men who were capable of producing movies that are critically acclaimed and that always found commercial success. His company, Miramax, produced some of the most successful films of the past decades. From The English Patient to Pulp Fiction to The King's Speech, both Weinstein and Miramax were so majestic, and it seemed like nothing could ever bring them down. However, they were brought down in 2017 when hundreds of stories popped across the internet talking about his years of sexual predation. And within a twinkle of an eye, the very same celebrities who worshipped him turned against him. Suddenly, it looked like all those uncovered secrets were not actually really covered. The crazy part is many in Hollywood have known about his behavior for years, but did nothing to change or reverse it. In fact, that was one of the things that contributed to his incredible legend. He was known to be able to manipulate, bully, and intimidate people. To check out where this story all started from, we have to go back all the way to 1979, where a young Harvey Weinstein founded Miramax alongside his brother Bob. The company's first release, a softcore porn film titled Goodbye Emmanuel, was a rather modest debut. The two brothers quickly earned a reputation in the film industry by being extremely savvy and tenacious who refused to take no for an answer. Their quick break came when they finally hit the jackpot, sending them right to the center of Hollywood. They borrowed money and acquired the rights to 3 films that became critical and commercial successes: Cinema Paradiso, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and My Left Foot. These 3 films earned them 2 Academy Awards, including Best Actor for Daniel Day-Lewis, the foundations for the Miramax empire were set and Harvey Weinstein's reign had begun. In 1993, their financial influence greatly increased when Disney acquired Miramax. This allowed Miramax more financial ability to make other films like Good Will Hunting and Life is Beautiful. This new divine status in Hollywood allowed Weinstein to navigate his power and influence into the inner circles of the Democratic Party. Once crowned the most powerful man in Hollywood by Times Magazine, Weinstein soon became one of the most powerful figures in Democratic politics and in America generally. But this time, there had already been rumors about his involvement in sexual perversions with women, but still, it was overlooked. Weinstein's political influence wasn't just founded in his personal donations. He flourished as a Democratic power broker. With his profound ability to fundraise millions upon millions of dollars in the film industry, proving invaluable for politicians like Bill and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. However, the dominoes started to fall when the New York Times provided a detailed account of Weinstein's sexual predation over the course of decades. The story proved a strange left turn and brought the #MeToo movement onto the national stage. After a subsequent piece, The New Yorker by Ronan Farrow was released. Within days, there were 13 women who came forward to tell their stories about how Weinstein had sexually harassed or assaulted them, with details of the rape. At this time, people started to disassociate from him, and it happened so fast. Weinstein reportedly reached out to Hillary Clinton in an attempt to kill the piece before it hit the press. He was ignored. On March 11, 2020, Weinstein was sentenced in New York to 23 years in prison. About a year later, he was extradited to California to face additional charges. In 2022, he was sentenced to 16 years in prison after a jury found him guilty of rape and sexual assault. If there's one thing that Weinstein's story teaches us, it's that no matter how long it takes, all hidden truth will be brought to light. And that is what has been happening in recent months with Clive Davis and Diddy. Should the allegations prove true, justice will undoubtedly be served. However, these recent events also raise an important question. Why is there so much wrongdoing among those at the top? Do you think Clive Davis and Diddy are guilty of the allegations against them? Do you think the music industry needs to do more to investigate allegations of abuse? Drop your comments and opinions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, you should like, share, and subscribe to this channel and turn on post notifications for more videos like this one. And I highly recommend that you watch this video as well.